What's up and welcome back in, people, to What's Up TV with All You Can Eat Warriors, man. And it's great to be back, and a lot to break down. But I want to welcome in, man, my resident New Zealander. He is officially one of us people. But my man Ash, how you doing? And you made it back to the land down under of an Aussie. How you feeling? How was your trip to New Zealand, bro? I know a lot of people would love to hear what happened for you over here in New Zealand, bro.
Honestly, bro, absolutely loved it. Shout out to all you guys. Yeah, I'm back home safe. But yeah, what an incredible trip over to New Zealand. If you guys haven't checked out my channel, I did a little bit of a vlog. You got to see a little snippet of what I did over there in New Zealand. Your boy Levon over here ran me around town all Saturday before the game. Showed me about all the great little spots in New Zealand. We tried some pies. So be curious. Wait out for Wise Up TV to bring out a little bit of a vlog as well, or just things that I did on the Saturday. The pie reviews in there too, guys. I know you guys would be very excited to see my thoughts around the pies over in New Zealand as well. But yeah, absolutely incredible. Obviously sucked the result over the weekend. We'll touch on that very shortly. But I think the biggest thing I took out of the weekend in general is win, lose or draw, being around your own community just makes you so happy. And also humbled to see everyone out there, especially in the meet and greet. All you guys were absolutely amazing. Seeing you guys face to face, not just behind the little profile pictures that you have on your YouTube channel. I think that was the best thing to get out of the weekend. You made me smile. I absolutely loved it. And I can't wait to return to Mount Smart very, very shortly. Maybe I was saying to my missus on my way back, it's like, should we just move to New Zealand? Like, honestly, I'll just make it happen. Just make it happen.
Yeah, nah, I don't, bro, man. Hey, you love it. You love it here, bro. Like I said, we went to Rainbow's End, you know. I told Ash, bro, hey, it's better than movie world, man. Like, and no lies told. So,
bro, how about all the Warriors? All the Warriors team was at Rainbow's End at one point over the weekend as well. I think it was over this weekend.
Was it?
I think it was for one of the birthday party. It might have been Fisher Harris's baby's birthday party. But there was videos going around TikTok. The whole New Zealand Warriors team was over at Rainbow's End. Maybe we should have stayed a little bit longer. Who knows? Maybe we would have seen a couple of boys out there.
Bro, it's crazy because, you know, the Cup boys, after our meet and greet, like all the Cup boys where we was, you know, they were following Wise Up TV wherever we went, no doubt. So, yeah, nah, man, it was cool, bro. Oh, yeah, Mackie saying the Warriors went to Rainbow's End from Vaimonga's son's beat.
That's it.
Great. Yeah, so, yeah. You can't be. See, I told you it's a recruitment. I told you all the Aussies come to New Zealand for Rainbow's End, bro. They went for a birthday, man. What, you know, no lies told here, bro.
Hey, and shout out to the Cup boys, as you said. You know, with all the Cup boys coming up when we finished our Wise Up TV meet and greet, a couple of people obviously stayed back in that, and we saw all the boys come up. But all were, you know, amazing, like, you know, mannered, you know what I mean? All came up and said, excuse me, filtered through, like, you know, they all got their food. And that Bunty Afoa looked like the energy ball that, you know, we all know and love. He was absolutely amazing. He legit turned to everyone and was like, hey, you going, guys? Like, he was my one of my big ones. So I was like, yeah, this guy, what a freak. Get him back in. Get him back in.
Get him in. Get him in. Get him in. Get him the BAS, the Bunty appreciation. That's starting to get back in there, bro. No, totally. We didn't get to Kelly Tolton's, but we went to Rainbow's End. I think you went to the zoo on Friday.
Yep.
Did the Sky Tower as well, bro. So yeah, no, heaps of cool things. We did the most we could with what time we had, bro. So, hey, Aussie Pies are way better. Shout out to Sappho boys, bro. They're so funny. Those fellas. Oh, man.
But incredible, guys. It was great. It was so fun, and I appreciate all you guys for obviously giving us some ideas over there in New Zealand. That Friday was a jam-packed Friday. The Saturday was a jam-packed Saturday. The Sunday was a resting flight to come home, and then Monday I was just recovering after the long weekend.
So you kind of felt what it's like for the boys to come over here and travel and then go. You could feel that how hard it is, and yeah, man, you felt what it was really like.
It was a tough slog, bro. And if you guys saw the vlog, my hemis are probably a little bit sore after a couple of Gossies right foot steps that I put on the training field out there. So just waiting for the contract call there from the Warriors. Let us know. I am free to come back over to New Zealand and play for the Warriors because we are down on some troops at the moment.
Out, man. So I want to do a big shout out to our bro Bruce. 11 months, far out. That's crazy, man. Day one of this, even lads. We turning around this Friday? Sure, why not? Look, we're gonna get into that, bro, and
100%.
There's a lot to go through, and yeah, some of the stuff. Yeah, chat is full on tonight because I know there's a lot of people, a lot of changes, so a lot to talk about. So please hit that like, people, and subscribe. We're not far off 3K, so help us get to that if you are new here. Rise Up TV, man. Let's start just quickly, man. You were at the game. We were all at the game. A pretty disappointing result, obviously, but what did you make of the performance, and what were some of the takeaways you got from that? Positive, negative, indifferent. What you get from being at the game, being at Mount Smart as well? Like, share a little bit about being at Mount Smart for you, bro. What was that like too?
Yeah, first of all, Mount Smart, what an atmosphere. Like, as I said before, it's got a really nice family vibe to it. I was actually talking to a lady next to me, and she was absolutely amazing as well, talking me through the game. We're watching the women's game a little bit as well. When I walk through the fan section, like legit, you could let your kids run out there in the fan section. They can get food and stuff while you chill and watching the game out there. From any point in the field, you can watch it on. The vibe there is absolutely incredible. And then obviously getting into the men's game to start off, we started off with a bang, right? Our first 10 minutes, we played some really incredible footy. Wade Egan was wheeling and dealing. I thought our halves connected really well. We struck with two great tries. Lek Alasima crashing over as well. Adam Bumpy off that big left foot step that he loves to use at the moment. I thought that we started incredible. Obviously, the crowd was pumping. Everything was going incredible. I was like, this is the atmosphere. I'm loving this. This is like, I've been to Suncorp games and the atmosphere is incredible. And you're looking over the Broncos fans and it's kind of like, it's the Broncos home. So, but when you're when you're at Go Media and you're looking around at all the Warriors fans that are cheering the same, same team that you're cheering, it's such a cool vibe. There's nothing that can, there's nothing that can change. Nothing can take away from that experience there too. So I was so happy with the experience in general. Win, lose, or draw. I was incredibly blessed to even be over there overall. But with the game, bro, as I kind of touched on, we started off with a bang. Wade Egan goes down. A couple things, obviously, the Titans started to crack back on. They scored 2 tries on us. I felt like complacency came into our game a little bit. It was whether the boys were a little bit flat. Like, there's two sort of meaning of thoughts at the moment, whether the boys are a bit flat from a long season and there's injuries are starting to catch up, which we're starting to see a little bit of now, right, with the team list coming out. We'll touch on that a little bit later on. But I also thought that there was a part in the game, especially rewatching it and going through slow-mos and stuff like that, where it didn't feel like the game was so far out of our grasp for this period. And I felt like the boys had the same sort of thought process through the game where they were like, it's all right. The momentum will change in our favor very shortly and we'll get back on the horse and we'll strike and come home very strong because it came so easy to us early on. And they shouldn't have really had that thought, but I really do think that's probably what fills into our game, especially coming off the win, what happened in Newcastle. So, again, whether it's right or wrong, I feel like that's what came into our game for the middle portion. Oh. And then the Jojo Fafita try that ended up as a no try that ended up getting called a try. I think that was a big dagger to us to where we were like, oh, fuck, we got to get onto something here, bro. Like, we don't have a lot left. we're going to have to really strike. And then as soon as we started to click back into gear, it felt like, again, it was starting to come easy for us again. Like, I think errors only took away from our run home. So for me, I took that as I think we really were complacent in that game, thinking that we're going to roll over the Titans in periods because it came so easy to start with, even with a couple of injuries and a couple of setbacks during the game, a couple of things where refereeing wise, like I felt like the ruck was really slow in that game as well. I think the boys were just like, it's going to happen. And it became too late before it ended up happening towards the end of the game. So I'm curious to see what Webby can change here, what the boys can change in their mindsets into the game to come out against the Dolphins, which, again, we're under strength coming into this one, but I'm sure the boys are going to take on the challenge, especially being embarrassed at home the way it happened last week.
Complacency is a good point, and just wondering, it's hard to find if it's good because you're pointing out kind of a gray area. Is it complacency or is it fatigue? And if it is complacency, it still felt as though we couldn't get back into the game, and like with all the reasons you said, is that us kind of taking things too lightly? And maybe an example is a Melbourne Storm where they had complacency, but they got strike power to get back into a game. How many games last year they won where there was like they came back into a game, for example, against us, and multiple games last year. They just had that X factor to get them over the line. Is it for us, should we be playing with fire in terms of complacency that way, or is there something missing in terms of leadership and the guys just aren't switched on? What do you put it down to overall in that situation?
I think that in general, I think the boys have a really good mindset to feel like, they're going to ride these waves and stuff. Sometimes that can add complacency into your game where you're feeling like, all right, the time will come when we switch momentum and that's when we're going to strike. But you got to give a full credit also when I'm touching on all this. Gold Coast Titans, incredible game from them. They definitely were red hot. They were coming into this one after a rev up from Desi Hasler, his 500 game, Kieran Foran's last game in New Zealand. Like, there's a lot of different things that the Titans were playing for in this lineup. Jamin Jolliffe playing probably his best game that I think I've ever seen. We know what Jaden Campbell can produce out there. So they're a talented side when they get a roll on as well. But I felt like that, with how easy that it came, to start the game, I felt like the boys always thought that if they get back to the system, which is what we always talk about, which is a great thought to have as well, but I feel like it bit us in the arse in this one, that if we end up, getting through back into our system again, like we did to start the game, they wouldn't be able to stop us because honestly, to start the game, it felt like that was just completely dominant. I don't think they touched the ball within the first 5 minutes or so. Like they probably had one or so set and we were just rolling. And then as soon as Wado went down, again, not blaming it all, like saying that Wado, again, as an excuse, Wado being injured, whether that brought complacency. I think there was a little bit more at play there. But I felt like just the middle part of the game, we just kind of allowed the leash to go a little bit too far before we pulled it back in, instead of just kind of striking while the iron was hot. There's a couple of moments I probably picked out with you that were pretty key moments, were key errors in this game, because we had a couple of errors that definitely held us behind the 8 ball. I think there was a moment that before halftime, probably 10 minutes before halftime, we got good ball down the opposite end. I think Shnaris Davida put down wasn't the greatest ball to Lek Alasima, which he ended up having an error. We had a really good set there where it looked like we built back momentum. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck almost scored a try in the corner. I think it got pulled back for a forward pass before he dropped the ball as well. That would have been an incredible moment for us as well to click back into gear. And then later on in the game, some other big key moments where there was a couple of errors late. Like there was a big refereeing call on Shnaris Davida. That was a big one, I believe, with the ruck infringement to end up being a ball plant. And lastly, I think that Tomato Martin going back towards Jaden Campbell and Jaden Campbell pulling out a major intercept there in that one moment. I felt like those were the moments where it was just like, I think we were trying to force it too much towards the end. So for me, complacency probably did play its part here too. But now also seeing that the injuries that we're coming out of this game with as well, it probably does feed more so to the point as well that we did run a little bit flat mid-part to this game. And as soon as we found that the game was a little bit too far out of our grasp, that we wanted to try and get back into it, we pushed home really, really hard, but unable to get the result due to running out of time, I believe.
Yeah, and it's look, I swayed towards the Titans too, because there was some great kicks. It was great to actually see Tanner Boyd's kicking, the height he can get on those kicks, man, and it just sits up there, and then drops in perfect zones. And Sami was just eating them up, and I was thinking, this guy's got to drop one or two surely. Nope, didn't drop a single ball.
No,
Likewise on the other side, Campbell kicked the air out of the ball. He had one of the really best good kicking games I've seen. Like CNK had no room, RTS had very little room to work in. They were really on. And
they were.
again, I go back to the this competition is just you just never take it lightly, man, because anyone can rock
No.
up on their day. And the referees do have their momentum swingers. There was one, we just scored 2 tries, and then it's 3-6 games in short notice. I think the concerning thing for me was, and you made a good point, I mentioned this on the show last night, was Tamai's tackle technique as a middle. Like you said, he leads with his right shoulder, and sometimes you need that contact to be on the left side. He gets pushed around just too much. And do you think he got just tired and Webby decided, like, I want to pull you out of there and put CHT in there? Because I felt like he was just on defense the whole night. And I don't really think he could cope with that level of play as a hooker. What did you make? Was that to try and reinvigorate the attack, or was it like, nah, Tamai's not doing the job we need. We need to put CHT in there. What was that move?
I think there was a little bit more of the second, thought there, where I think that Webby probably noticed during the game the way that Tamati Martin was defending and him falling off of tackles just due to his tackle position just seemed a little bit off. He prefers his right shoulder contact, and he was doing whatever he could to get into that right shoulder, even if it was really wrong footing himself. So like whether, he saw that and thought, the best way we're going to get it through this is switching him out. And I think it was also probably chasing the result towards the end. The best way, we got a gunslinger in Tamati Martin as well. And as we see this weekend, I'm very excited to see that halves pairing of Tanner Boyd and Tamati Martin there. Like Tamati is always going to throw those higher risky balls and try to make the attack kind of happen. So I think it was a little bit of that as well at play. So, and whether it was, maybe Chanel saying that he's got an injury and we're trying to maybe limit him a little, put him in the middle a little bit. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I think that it definitely came to a point where I think it was more of a defensive player pushing Tamati out to an edge and having him try to run home with the attack.
Yeah, it just and then there was a nice little uptick with him and Tanner, and even with, I suppose, CHT's injury, we'll talk more about that. But for that little portion of the game, Tanner and Tamati had some nice movements, and I think Tamati likes to use. So you see, CHT will drop a Leka underneath. I think Tamati likes to give Leka the outside, which was great too, because Leka could work one-on-one, and so I think there's a little slight difference in terms of options that each half likes, which may show itself in the game this Friday, which will be interesting to see, because the halves pairing, cut pairing, and there was a little just bit more continuity between Tanner and TMM.
Yep.
Just subtly, and you can see that they've had some type of connection, whereas I think Tanner and CHT it's still working on it, and so that's something to be aware of. But yeah, just too little, too late, and that crowding in the ruck. I saw another one earlier. I think Fumor.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
pretty much identical, and it was a penalty the other way. It was so that always plays its part. You know what I mean?
I think what frustrated me the most too, in that game was, even rewatching it. Mo Fodawaker, incredible game from Mo too, by the way. If the referee's going to allow you to push the rules out. But I've never seen a player line the ruck more in a game and not get penalized as much for it. Like, I was like, and even watching it, I was like, it just felt like they had an extra second in the ruck to hold us down. And it wasn't on dominant tackles too, guys. Like, I know people call out, well, maybe it was a dominant tackle. Like, no, it wasn't like boys are getting hands to the knees, like trying to get up for the play ball, and they're wrestling in the ruck still. Like, I couldn't believe that. Again, not putting it down to the referee. Like, I thought that the boys were really complacent and they didn't play their best game of footy, especially for, like, I'm going to say probably about 50, 60 minutes in that game. I honestly go back to, I continue to go back. There's key moments there. There's some positive moments there in that game as well, where it's like, the boys still have it there. It just honestly felt like we turned off the engine for a little bit to say, all right, we'll conserve it maybe for a little bit, which probably feeds into your point of, like, maybe the boys are fatiguing mid part of the games, is saying, we'll catch them, just allow it to happen for now. And then when it became too much of a margin, it felt like the boys were like, fuck, we've lost this one. We just need to get it back. And we came home really, really strong and tried to force it a little bit. So, I think that in general we'll be okay. I think that we've dealt with a lot worse before. And I think that Webby's a great enough coach to end up pulling this out of the fire as well, and trusting in the boys to fix up their wrongs, which is the best part.
We'll talk about it now because I don't want to drag on about it. But the right edge defense, and we'll maybe talk about it in the team list as well. But um, what did you put it down to? A lot of the issues there. I just want to hear your thoughts on I mean, a lot of success there. I just actually watched a Kieran Foran clip where he talked about he had evolved his game, the 5-man cutout, and so that wasn't a fluke. That was planned, and Kieran knew what he was doing, and so you got to give credit to the Titans and to Foz for being such a great player, even in retirement year. He's pulled out a Sean Johnson almost pretty much.
It was incredible
in his own
pass.
right. So you add into those factors, but the issues, where do the issues lie? And I know a lot of people want to put it on Dallin because he's at the end of a line. It's like running a relay. You know, if you're the last person with a baton, you know. But if your team's crap on the end, like if you're coming last, it's because of it's not because of you, bro. It's usually because of your three other
boys behind you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, where do you put it down to, man? Those issues on the right hand edge.
Well, I'll be honest, bro. I want to put my hands up too. Like, I kind of fell back into the phase of what the fan base is kind of calling for when I watched the game, and I was like, oh, it's so hard to try and defend in the moments. But I was still also looking at some of Katewell's movements out there as well in that game. Like, he made some really poor reads in moments. Like, I feel like he made the right reads but didn't execute properly. Katewell. There was the try that Philip Sammy where AJ Brimson cut back in off of the pass, so the pass was still mid-air. He stepped back in on the pass, and Katewell got caught freaking lacking hard and caused Dal to have a 3-on-1 where, Dal, guys, I want to always preface, you hear me say it all the time, but the easiest way to kind of understand defenses in the NRL is you always protect your inside shoulder. So Dal's always going to have to protect his inside and allow tries to get scored outside of him if there's no other way about it. So, I feel like I'm a broken record saying this all the time, but I was actually talking to, shout out to Context Rugby League on Instagram. I wanted to shout out someone that's outside of the Warriors fan base and outside of what they see. Incredible guys. He does a lot of breakdowns, very similar to Levon on Instagram, and great content creator. And I was like, you know what, bro? Like, am I in the wrong here? Am I the only one out there feeling like that Dall's not the big play here? That's at fault. Sure, Dall does have these moments where he gets caught in no man's land, try to chase an interception every so often and stuff like that, as all wingers do. I've seen Jason Saab do it over the weekend. We saw Tom Jenkins do it against us over the weekend with the Panthers. So, there's other wingers that do that consistently as well. But I was saying, what are you seeing out there too? But Mratini Kore, he was pointing out that Mratini Kore probably sits on his lead a little bit too much and doesn't push out his outside men quick enough. We did see that Tanner Boyd was sitting in his seat a couple of times there on reads as well. So, a lot of it is coming from the inside that ends up having you got numbers advantage on the outside. And as a winger, when you get a numbers out advantage, and people always say, yeah, it's number on number, it's not always that way. As soon as your half gets beat on the outside, it becomes your center's problem now because you got to protect your inside shoulder. So your center's always going to create the read there. And as a winger, whatever your center does, you always follow in. That's always the biggest key to modern day systems. So I want people to always remember this. I say this all the time. We're not playing in the 80s where you sit on your man no matter what and you allow whatever comes on the inside. Dal gets ripped apart in the video session if he allows tries on his inside shoulder. He does. That's just the way modern systems work. And I got reaffirmed by Context. He was saying, no, you're 100% right, Ash. This is not 100% right, but he's saying, yeah, you're right, Ash. This is the way systems are these days. And that's why Dal's getting caught in these positions here is due to his centers make a decision. He's going to follow his center in and he's going to get caught lacking on the outside. And with my last little point here, guys, I want you guys to kind of get in the thought process. If the try is going to happen in any sort of way, where do you want the try to be scored? If Dal sits on his read, it's going to get scored on his inside. More than likely, that's a higher percentage play for the Gold Coast Titans for their center to score. And more than likely, that's a better kick for their goal kicker to kick to add to the conversion in at the end of the scheme of things. If Dal ends up cutting in on his inside, it causes the playmaker to make a harder play. The harder play in rugby league is the 3-man cutout, is the cutout ball to where it either could be a forward pass, it could either be a drop pass, or it either could go completely miss the mark and go out. Or lastly, if they end up scoring the try, they scored a try in the corner, it's a tougher kick for the playmaker. So that's the reason why defenses do this in the modern day of rugby league. So That's my point in general. Again, everyone's going to continue to say, stop defending Dal. And again, I don't think Dal was incredible over there in the weekend. That sin bin was definitely a key moment in this game where he needs to fix up on, and he's not been his 100% best. But I do feel like it's been a little bit too much of this whole Dallin's the problem, Dallin's the problem. And I hate going to games and always hearing, Dallin, stay on your wing, stay on your man. That's not what a wing is supposed to do. That is not what a wing is supposed to do. I don't care what anyone says.
Right next to me.
Oh, nothing makes me want to pull a gun out and shoot myself in the head more, bro. Honestly, I heard it at Suncorp that many different times. And I was like, about to turn around and be like, have you actually played a game of rugby league? Like, have you played modern day system rugby league? If you played in the 80s and 90s, yeah, protect your paint. But that's such a dumb, bro, honestly, it gets me frustrated every time talking about it. Like, if anyone's played proper rugby league at proper systems, they know what the winger's choice is in that moment and what he has to do. That's just what it is.
Yeah. It's funny because the system, it asks the back option or the half to throw the cutout. Now, the perfect example of when it works well is you have a Dane Gagai at fullback, and he's trying to throw a cutout to Marjorie, and it falls on the ground, and you get a knock on.
Exactly.
At times, though, you're going to get against the Brimson or a Kieran Foran who are quality, and they will make that pass. And that's when, fair enough, the system's beaten us. The good thing about Foran's video was that he was explaining how teams would get inside pressure on him because, Foran needs to go deep in that line. So he even said, his strength is if there's not much inside pressure and he can get deep in the line at the 4-man or whoever, that's his game. And if you look at the tape, Clark is slow to get out, and Marata just sits and holds on Foran, just eyes locked in on him. And Kieran, as great as the great player that he is, he goes right deep, and he's got Firmo on, and that's a hard line to deal with. And you got Brimson out the back with speed, so it's just one of those things where they executed very well. And yeah, you're probably asking, man, we need a bit more lateral movement off Marata. Marata, if you see him when he drops into that read, it's a split second for him to push out. He has to dig in and really get off his read. So he's just slow laterally, and then I think you add in Tanner with that, and Tanner has to sit because if you have such a strong lead line, he has to really commit to those tackles, So it's just sometimes you just get beat by a better system.
And I saw a comment a little bit earlier on. I think it was Ray. Shout out to Ray, and he said, "What would it look like if Dallin was to just stay out in his read?" If you go watch the Newcastle Knights game over the last weekend, and you watch Dallas play out and trust that Katewell was going to cut down on Braden Best and sort of line break that Braden Best had, that's going to happen 9 times out of 10. And again, if I'm putting some people to school here in any sort of way, tell me what is the more high percentage pass in rugby league, Levon? A short ball to your center or a 2-man cutout?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? When you watch the Warriors play high percentage football, what are we doing? We're running the ball first. Running the ball is the highest percentage play. 1-man passes is a higher percentage play. As soon as you're going more than 1-man passing, then there's variables that come into the football. The football can go forward. The football can get dropped. The football can go out. There's many different little plays that the reason why it ends up happening the way it does. And I also don't feel like people are watching other teams in the competition and noticing that every other team does exactly the same thing. Manly got caught out with it over the weekend with Jason Saab. The Dogs get caught out with it all the time because if you watch Stephen Crichton defend as a center, more times than not, he defends on his inside shoulder. That's always what he's done. And lastly, guys, the whole thought process on, why do we concede more tries on our right side, more times on our left? There's many good reasons for this. Number one, in the whole wide world, there's more people that are usually more likely to be right-handed. So right-handed football players are better passing right to left than they are playing left to right. So more football sides, generally, as a general scope, are better at performing and attacking shifts towards their left-hand side, which is defensively our right-hand side, than the opposite side. They're more likely to perform that at a better movement, so they're going to attack that side. This is the reason why the Dogs have Stephen Crichton defending on their right edge, then defending on their left edge, because he's their best defensive center. Unfortunately, at the moment with the Warriors, we don't have a center there. Ali Leoto's been injured. Rocco Berry's been injured. There's many different players that could be helping out there. But Kurt Katewell seems to be the best option that we have at the moment until we maybe talk about this weekend if we do go Chance Nickel Clockstag or something like that to fill in that position. But also, this is an issue that has been happening for a little while now. If people want to go back to, if I want to go check out the highlights of the Manly Seagulls game against us and see Tane get put in exactly the same positions and make the exact same reads. Go watch the Cowboys game where we got beat on that outside again and again and again. That is our system. That is the way we play our football. Gus Gill's already come out and said we are the hardest team to play against because we shut down time and space and make teams play the hardest play, which is the cutout. So that's my last little thoughts there. I feel like it always gets talked.
And sometimes the cutout's just too good. Like that's my point as well. Is that you just get beat. You get beat, bro. That's how it is. That's the game. My concern has never really been with Dowell defensively. It's actually just the little things like the tap out for the goal line dropout. Like, he was literally on the line. Like I was like, barring a miracle, and I think CNK was on the inside. He's just lacking some confidence. That's the bad thing. But I alluded to this last night that the club haven't actually solved the wing situation moving forward, like this year at least.
No.
I don't think Seal Kali's going to come in right now. No. And I know everyone's loving Seal Kali, but we know that our wingers typically, and I'm just stereotypically saying, they need a bit of time to develop. Go back to Manu Vative, first Ken, all those guys that come through our system, costs, they still need time to develop. I don't think it's going to happen right now. So we're just going to stick with Dowell. I think it's the fact that he's not getting the output, because you look at Dowell, his finishing still elite. You can't.
Yeah, it is.
He puts it on a dive, but he just never gets good ball to do it anymore. But I do believe he's lacking a lot of confidence, right? Like I was watching him in the game, and I was thinking, bro, you're looking really flat right now. And add that to sin bin, everything just compounded for him. You know what I mean?
And with that point too, bro, like he hasn't really been put in the positions to be able to do those finishes more times than not. Like the last time we saw that was in that Knights game where, that was called a forward pass on Tane Tuapiki, but he put that ball on a dive. Dowell's still able to do all that. It's just, I think we're in the year that people are probably not understanding that right side has unfortunately been hampered by injury all year. Like, we have Luke Metcalf go down, so Tanner Boyd's in that position. And even in that game, I think Tamati Martin ran in that 7 jersey for that game there too. So that's 3 different halves that we had there. Now move one inside to your edge back row. Maratani Korde's been on that side. Lek Alasima's been on that side. Jacob Laban's been on that side. They've had a 3-man rotation on that side due to Murata being pushed to the middle. So the combinations there hasn't been stuck solid. Now move one further out. With the center position, we've had Ali Leotar start there this season because Rocco wasn't fit. Rocco's come back in and he's not fit anymore. Ali and him, Adam Pompey's been pushed to that role for a couple of times mid-game. We had Kurt Katewell fill in that position and Moala Graham Telfer fill in that position. Now, even move further out to the winger position. We had Dal fill that position. We've had Tane Tuapiki fill that position. We've had Ed Gossi fill in that position. So that year, like comparatively to our left side, and this is a major credit to someone like an Adam Pompey, who has played every second, every minute that he can on that football field. And that is why he's so important to our side at the moment, because unfortunately our other boys are just contending with just the injury bug and they can't get over it. Like we see Ali's not even fit to ready to go this weekend because he's still dealing with his injuries, unfortunately. So this will take time. And again, we are in a great position right now. We're still top 4. We still have the ability to stay top 4, even though the Panthers are coming hard and they may end up overtaking us. Who knows? But this year has been an incredible for what we had or what we can have to what we're producing, we're overachieving with what a lot of people expected for us this season. So I want people to keep that mentality while also saying we can be better for sure, but that's going to come in time.
So are you saying that Webby has had every right to stay what would so be called conservative with a Katewell based on the injuries of what we've had? Because a lot of people will say, oh, Webby keeps selecting the same guys. But because of the injuries, that's where he's had to ask Katewell, man, look, I know you've come off a great origin. I want you back in the back row, but I need you at centre just to do a job for me. Is that kind of what you think Webby's had to do, to get us through? And could he have done anything different? Probably not. But what do you just that last point?
Yeah, 100%, bro. Like, I think that, Kurt Katewell is probably the best one that we could have there, other than if we did want to go down the route, which I have a feeling that it may go down the route very shortly. It may come this weekend, but The only other option I could ever see happening is Chance Nickel Clockstag playing centre and Tane Plicky playing fullback. I think that's the only way. The only way. Because if you think about it, I think Morgan Harper hasn't hit the ground running with our club. He's played good, consistent footy, but he's been in and out due to injury as well. Setu 2's come back in the club, but he's been in and out of the lineup. Army 2 has been in and out of the lineup as well. Sio Carley missed the start of the season with his injuries because he's had consistent injuries through his career as well. Not a lot of people know that if they haven't followed our junior base, but Sio's been dealing with injuries for a long time. So it's good to see him playing consistent football now, but we need him to still play consistent football there too. So there's no centre, Moala Graham Talfor we've had in there, but he has his defensive lapses at times. Rocco's been injured. Ali's been injured. Like, as Webby said in the press conference, and people shouldn't take it as an excuse to say, like, he's just trying to stick loyal as much as he can. Like, it's actually a true fact. There's not many other options that he has there. And we even have debates in there whether we want Chance in that centre position to have it there. So, like, this is what Webby's contending with right now. So I think he's doing the best that he can with the people that he has. And people got to understand, like, at the moment, it's probably more of a discussion that maybe we should be hunting in the market for another centre winger, which we were hunting in the market to start the year. And it gives food for thought of why we were hunting for a centre winger to start the year this year to fill in these positions. And all we got was Morgan Harper. And unfortunately, he's been injured or hasn't been to the highest of standard either. Yeah.
And like that, I'm thinking now that's probably the only risk he could have taken was Tane at fullback and CNK at centre. But again, we're like 6 games away from finals. Like, we've got to be very careful. Like, I know it's limited time frames here to like do wholesale changes. Like, I think Webby's pretty much painted the picture overall. He might change it a little bit with a few other brushstrokes, but I think this is the team we're riding it out with, and that's what it is right now. You know what I mean?
100%, brother. And like, again, like, I think I think we've come to a point where we got into a top 4 very, very quickly. Probably similar to what the Raiders are probably looking at and all that sort of stuff. But we've been a side that's been up and down for a long period of time. So people are starved of success. And Webby's come in. He's got a top 4 in his first year. Second year, it hadn't gone to according to plan due to a multitude of different issues going on at the club. This year, he's gotten back to top 4 with the team that got stripped away of all this experience, all their key members, and everyone else has stepped up to the plate. So first of all, that's a massive tick in Webby's cap. Now we're looking at the season where I think people set their expectations of, okay, we're a top 4 side now. We need to push for a premiership this year. And like 100%, that's the way we all kind of looked at it at one point this season. We all yep, all right, sweet, we can be, what can take us to there? Unfortunately, what's dropped us back from that, and like Bloke in the Bar has spoken about, a lot of teams have spoken about, like the Melbourne Storm are going for it right now. Can the Melbourne Storm win a premiership without Jerome Hughes? Some will say yeah, some will say no.
Yeah.
All right, take that to us tenfold. We got Mitch Barnett out, our starting captain, middle forward there. So as soon as he dropped out, it was going to be like, okay, it's going to be an uphill battle, but we still end up finding some wins in that period. And then we've got, Luke Metcalf out injured, and he was our Daly M, looking like a Daly M halfback this year. So, unfortunately, like Tanner Boyd's done a great job either. It's not even me bashing Tanner Boyd in that. But if you stripped away 2 of our key players to start the season that have built combinations to start the season and put in 2 other players, for us to stay in top 4 at the moment is still a very good achievement. And if we can continue to go on, just hold into a top 8 and get to a final series, I think that's a major achievement for the club. Do I think we're going to win a premiership this year? At the moment, maybe there's the slightest chance, but it's getting very, very slight now because we are without our top fledged players that started our combination this year. So more than likely, we'll probably get bounced out in the finals, and I'll be happy with that because, to start off the year, what did we think it was going to be, honestly?
Yeah, and that's a great point too. And I think I go back to that Sharks game, and I came out and did a video like, yo, this is it. We're gonna make a run here, and then obviously Metcalf and Barnett drop off. But I still believe in what Webby's building. And now that, with these injuries, it's taken a setback. And I think, like, I talked about it last night. Are we a top 4 team? Technically on the ladder, but I don't think we're playing at that level based on injuries and what's happening right now. And that's okay too.
That's okay.
But I think what there's some areas that are glaring. Well, not glaring, but the club need to look at moving forward after this and asking themselves, look, we've got 2 aging wingers here. What are we going to do next year? Are we going to blood a Seal Carly for legit and start him and build him to be a premier winger, or are we going to go to the market for this or that? So
Exactly.
but I think that what people are wanting is pretty much like I don't really want to see us, top four for there. That'd be great. I just want to see some key indicators like this thing with Tanner, and we'll get into the team list actually right now, and we'll talk more about that and how that may impact the future. So we're looking at guys. We've got Charles is at the back at the moment. We'll talk about that. Dallon's there. Pompey, Katewell is going to be captain. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Tamide Martin at 6. Tanner Boyd. Dimitri Vaimonga, Samuel Healy. Everyone's been talking about Sam Healy. He gets his opportunity to shine with Wade Egan out for a week. Jackson Ford, Leka Halasima, Marata Newcorder, and Aaron Clark. Then we've got Tane Tuopiki at 14. Jacob Laban, Freddy Lassic. There's an old throwback. And Tanner Smith. Now, I'll read out the extra names just so we know who the whole 23 is because it might change things up. Eddie Yeremia Toyava, 18. Bantia 4, 19. Ed Gossi, 20. Kalani going, 21. And then Makaya Talfa, 22. So, Ash, can you share with me what you feeling is going to be some of the change-ups? I think a lot of people are feeling like that's not going to be who the actual team is on the weekend. On Friday night. But what are you thinking with the lineup changes? What the team will eventually be for this Friday night's game?
Yeah, as soon as I seen the team list drop, I was like, okay. So I knew straight away that Warriors fans were going to be going crazy in the comment sections, just seeing the team list. But I also just filtered straight back to like, okay, there's going to be changes. There's going to be game day changes. I don't see Webby running with a bench of Tane Tuopiki, Jacob Laban, Freddy Lassic, and Tanner Smith. I messaged Warriorholic as well. Shout out to the Warriorholic, and I pretty much got his thoughts as well, and he was in the same boat with me. I was thinking that, like, I think it's going to come a time because now we got Fish out for a period of time. I think Kurt Katewell is going to have to get pushed into a forward jersey, which, Webby obviously said in his press conference that he's trying to find a way. I think it's going to have to happen now. And I think the only way that's going to ever happen is go Chance to a center position and Tane Tuopiki goes to fullback. So what that does is now our bench doesn't look as small, with Tane and Freddy Lassic on the bench. So I'm going to go Tane Tuopiki at fullback. Chance goes to a center. Kurt Katewell will take over Mratini Kode's position. And Mratini Kode will go back to a middle role. Whether that's starting or off the bench, I'm not too sure, but it will be around about that sort of realm. So more than likely, we'll have a bench of Jacob Laban, Tanner Smith, Freddy Lassic, and one of Dimitri Vaimonga, Jackson Ford, or Mratini Kode. I think that looks a lot better than what we kind of have currently right now. And I think that's the only change that I could see happening. The other change you could see, Freddy Lassic's only just getting back from injury from Cup as well. So when I saw his name, I was like, okay, I didn't expect that. So if he's not ready to go, you even got Eddie Idemia Tuava that can cover many different positions as a 14 jersey and an edge back rower. Or a last one maybe is a little bit of a debutant there of Makaya Tafua, who's been playing good footy there for the Warriors in New South Wales Cup and even in Flegg when he's dropped down to Flegg. But that is a well out shout. I don't think he'll go that way. I think more than likely Freddie, if he's been named, he's ready to go. He'll play in that hooker rotation with Sam Healy. And as I said before, Tane Tuopiki will probably find his way into a fullback jersey. That's what I probably believe is going to happen this weekend. But we'll have to wait and see.
Let's talk about CNK to centre. It's never been truly done by Webby, but we are calling for a replacement for Katewell. I just think his legs are. It looks like his legs are. Well, at least at centre position, his legs are just not reacting or moving how we want them. I think he's pretty banged up too. But CNK at centre, what do we think that might look like? Is it actually CNK at right centre with the Dallin, or do you bring a Pompey over to help resolve that? Do you push a CNK with a bit more solid Roger on that side? What would you do? Would you go with the left or the right for CNK?
I would go on the right side, very similar to what we ran towards the end of the season for Sean Johnson's last game against the Sharks, which I was very surprised with Chance's work in that centre position. I know Chance came through the grade as a centre fullback. He played in the centre wings at times as well when he got into first grade. I've never fully enjoyed Chance at centre, I'll be completely honest, and I've said it multiple times on the channel early on when we were talking about Roger Tuivasa-Sheck playing centre and whether they can play fullback, all that sort of stuff, right? But I think it's going to come to a point where we're going to have to. I think it's the best thing we can do. And I think Chance will probably offer a little bit more than what Katewell can, especially in attack. Like, I think Chance has probably got the sicker ball playing skills to where he can get Dallin maybe unleashed a little bit on that wing. Where I feel like Kurt sometimes, because he's an edge back rower, he's done an incredible job for an edge back rower to fill in at center for a long period of time. As we know, we remember the Dolphins game last time where he had an absolute blinder as well. So it's not to say that if we even run Kurt Katewell in that center that he can't do a job. But I think Chance going to that right side role is probably the best way we can make this all work out. We're getting Kurt Katewell more closer to the ruck, which we've been losing these last couple of games. And I think that's going to be a big play for us.
Yeah, it's just look. We've got to try some things. It was clear that Katewell and Dallin isn't working right now, and we've just broken that down. It's not just them; it's the whole right side. So yeah, that'd be great to see a chance out there. Let's move now into the halves. Tamati Martin, I suppose, a guy that yeah, he just, we kind of pitched him as a starter, but then CHT and Metcalf had such a good combo that, but now he's coming in for an injured CHT with a tenor. Is there going to be much drop off? Is it going to look different stylistically? Does this actually work better for tenor with having that fluidity and gameplay style? How will TMM make his impact in the game, you think?
Yeah, if anyone's watched the New South Wales Cup team when they had their combination and cut, which only happened for limited games over the season, comparatively what people actually think, because Tanner Boyd and Tamati were both in like 18 jerseys to start the season, and even, when Tamati jumped into a 14 jersey. But we know Tanner right now, as we've seen. I think Tanner's been really good for us. To be honest, with all this discussion with Tanner, I know the Newcastle game, a lot of people were pointing out due to the end of the game, but I think his kicks all have been very good. I think he's getting us around the park. And as I said, that first 10 minutes with him and Chanel, I thought they finally found a good connection there with their playmaking and their decision-making and attack. I think with adding Tamati Martin with that, Tanner seems to square the line up really well, get it out to Tamati Martin. As we kind of touched on before to start the show, Tamati's got that knack of very similar. I'm not calling him James Maloney. I'm just saying in a very similar vein of what James Maloney was, where James Maloney wasn't afraid to throw the pass. Like, he was just going to throw it, and it was going to happen. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We saw that towards the end of the game as well. And I think that's what makes Tamati Martin very special. So he has the ability to up that try-assist tally, up our attacking tally, as we did when he was filling in for Sean Johnson last year. So I'm very excited to see that combination there. And I think that, as you said to start the show, they probably did look like they have a little bit better combination due to them being the cup half pairing, especially as Sam Healy. It is legit closest to being the cup spine. And if you go Tane to a pick at fullback and Charles go to center, that is our cup spine to start the year. So very, very curious and excited to see that combination. I think they'll be a little bit more slicker than what we've been trying in the past.
Yeah, maybe we'll just see a bit more different type of movement. Chanel was worked well though, and I just think the balance between Chanel and Metcalf worked well for some reason. Tanner's probably more on the ball now, and
yep,
I think Chanel kicking as much as what he was. I was thinking, his kicking numbers have probably dropped out. Yeah, and like it was a good balance between him and Metcalf because they needed each other kicking volume wise. Exactly. Whereas I think Tanner just can go kick the air out of the ball pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you'll get a bit more of that from Tamati. He's a gunslinger, and I think that not a lot of people like that sometimes. It kind of he'll throw the cutout pass, bro, and sometimes it'll hit, sometimes it'll miss, but it's exciting too at the same time. So we'll see how that goes. Sam Healy, man, what can we expect from Sam Healy in terms of energy? I think he's a big energy guy. Does he get out? Do we see a bit of play the ball pick up a bit faster than an Egan? Is he an organizer like an Egan on a goal line? You know, Egan's kind of really directing the attack. What do you make of a Sam Healy?
This is kind of feeds into my other point to this team list that we have this weekend. Sam's going to step in there and he's going to bring this real positive energy. If anyone's watched Sam Healy in Cup, and it's the reason why people have been calling for Sam Healy in that 14 jersey for the longest period of time, and I completely understand their thought process. It's just we weren't in a point to be able to do that before this. But now Sam Healy's back in that jersey, and I'm sure he's going to jump in there and he's going to like hit the ground running. Like we saw his confidence in that Sharks game where he just absolutely brained it. We've seen it even in that Cowboys game where he wasn't afraid to make the big plays. He's going to go in there and he's going to play for his life. So he's going to go out there, expect him to increase the tempo of the ruck. He's a great defender in the middle as well, which is what we're kind of missing a little bit there too when, like, obviously Wado drops out. Tamani Martin, it's a complete, chalk and cheese. I think Sam Healy's a bigger body, defends really well there. Yeah. But I think it goes back to we're going to see a running dummy half here that's going to up-tempo the attack and really bring a ton of really good positive energy. And sometimes this happens when we bring young kids into these jerseys. Like, again, remember the 2024 game against the Dolphins and even against the Panthers last year where we ran pretty much close to our cup side out there and we ended up getting wins on those nights. It all came from those kids jumping in there and bringing positive energy for the night there and just playing their hearts out. Now, I think these boys all got very similar, MOs this weekend. Like Dimitri Vaimonga, if it stays the way it is right now, of him starting, I'm sure he's going to step up to the plate and be like, Fish has taught me to get to this level. I'm at this level now. I'm the starter. I'm going to take it to the game. Tamani Martin in that 6 jersey, he's going to be a gunslinger. So we're going to be very positive by the looks of this lineup here. It's going to be very positive into attack. And it looks like we're going to take it to the game, which I'm very excited to see because that's one thing that when we get our momentum, we're a very tough side to stop. So I think Sam Healy just adds on the back of that for sure.
Yeah, it's exciting. He was great against the Sharks, man. I loved his energy, and yeah, I think people have been dying for his impact. But we'll get to see it throughout the game, so that's really, really exciting. What is the so you're thinking Marata will go into the middle, or to the bench or whatever. Katewell will go to the back row. Now, I keep forgetting this, but is Lecker a left side or right side back row naturally?
So when I watched him come through the grade, he was a left side. Then he got pushed to the right in cup in moments. He could play on both sides, but a lot of the stuff I saw him in his juniors were in his left side. He played right side center in. So honestly, bro, he could play anywhere really. But I feel like the more times I've watched him, he's played left.
And Katewell was a left side traditionally.
So Katewell is another one of those guys that can play both sides. But when we saw him last year remember the start of 2024, we paired him with Sean Johnson on the right, and it didn't really click. Then we put him over to the left after Origin, and he kind of fell into his role.
Yeah,
I feel like
I'm just
left
wondering
side
if
probably
could do with a change or not. I know it's pretty late. I mean, Lecker's probably building a relationship with that left side, but he did score his try on the right side too. I'm just wondering if that would work best for Katewell to go to the left and Lecker on the right.
I think if we go Katewell back into the centers, and again, this is all ifs, guys. I think this is what could happen. But if that does happen, I think we'll go Katewell to the left and Lecker to the right. I think that's probably the best way we end up making that work. Katewell back into that left side. He played that in Origin, all that sort of stuff. And Lecker's got the ability to play on both sides. So I'm sure he's just going to eat up any defense as he can on whatever side he plays.
I think protection for Tanner from Marata is overrated. I think we just need someone that can move laterally and help Tanner get off his reads. I think if that's going to be Lecker or Katewell, I think that's what we need right now. Just to help that out. So I'm just trying to think of solutions that could possibly work. Now, Tane, I agree with you. I don't think that's going to stay there. Freddy Lassic, does he stay as a actual cover option for Lassic? Say Lassic just burns out, he can't do. If Healy doesn't do 80. I mean, I'd love for Healy to do 80, but this is an NRL level. It can get a bit physical. Does Lassic stay despite just coming back in from cup? From injuries?
It could go either way, depending on the way that Webby kind of wants to attack this game. Like Freddie could start there in the hooker, and then we put Sam Healy on with a bit of a tight ruck, and him just come on an impact. It's either that, or we could start Sam Healy, see how far he can go, and Freddie can be a bit more of a middle rotation, as we've seen in Cup this year. He's been playing prop, lock forward, and playing in that hooker position, so he could play in those positions, and Sam Healy could blow his 60 out, and if we got to finish for the last 20 with Freddy Lassic, we'll do that. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, but I think that can go many different ways, to be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then if Eddie Toyava was to come in, would he be just as another back row option if that was the case, or were you picturing him kind of actually starting, or what was his role if he was to come in? I remember you mentioning him. Sorry. Yeah.
If there was any sort of if they were going to go down that route, and the only time I see that going down that route is if Freddy Lassic's not fit and ready to go, because he is coming back from injury as well. Eddie will probably go into like a 17 role where he's going to be a Mr. Fix-It. So he's pretty much going to go exactly what Tamati Martin kind of is. Center, edge. More than likely, he'll probably come on for the middle and do some work in the middle on edge. But if there's any injuries to our centers, which we've been dealing with week in, week out, he'll probably go to a center position.
So you would, and just guys, we're seeing Ed Gossi was in there. You were saying that Ed might be there for Dallin, who you saw was just limping a little bit as well.
Surprisingly,
so
surprisingly, when I saw the news of Fish, I was like, because I noticed that when I finished the game, so I was a couple of rows back, and Fish's family wasn't too far away from us, and he was limping towards his family. Him and Dallin were coming over together, and both of them were limping. Dallin was limping on his right leg, and I think Fish was limping on his left. And like they just like creeped over the gates to come see us. I got a photo with Dal. I was having a little bit of chat. I got a photo with Tanner and all that sort of stuff. But I was noticing that Fish was limping, and I did notice that Dal was limping as well. Whether that's still his issue that he's been dealing with his ankle from the earlier with the Panthers game, I'm not too sure. So maybe again, this could be a well out shot. I mean, he might be just tired or bit battered and bruised after the game, but who knows? Keep an eye out just in case if that is a play as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we've covered most of it. Ashbro, that's massive because I think a lot of people, I've even seen Tans in there. What's happened to JFH? And I think people are a lot of confused of what could happen. But I think we've covered, you've covered a lot of the options that could happen. So it's 24-hour cutoff, guys. I suppose we'll find out Thursday, 8 p.m. Check out for that one. And always the one hour before as well. But it is a short turnaround. Do you think with all the changes, does that put us as favorites, or where does it sit us? Even though we're playing at home, it feels like there's a lot of movements happening. We're losing Fish, the leader in the middle. What do you make of just off that squad right there? What do you expect of them?
Yeah, I do think that will fall out of favoritism. Like when I first opened up Sportsbet the other day, gamble responsibly, guys. Make sure of that. But I think we were $1.77 favorite, and I was like, after the weekend, I wouldn't be surprised if the betting agencies get flushed out and the Dolphins come in as favorite. So I'm not too sure. I haven't checked in it lately, but as I said, even now with seeing Fish and all that's out, I think the Dolphins will come in as favorite here. And that's always going to feed into us being the underdogs and us trying to chase the game and trying to change what everyone thinks on us. So I'm excited to see, again, like I'm very excited for this game. I know a lot of people may be worried and stuff like that. I'm excited to see what all these kids and everyone can produce, because we are now like looking at, if we lose this game, like the Panthers are on our heels. I'm sure the boys are really feeling that. And I'm sure the boys are embarrassed from their performance over the weekend as well. It looked like Webby was frustrated and embarrassed as well. So I think the boys will be up and ready to go against the Dolphins for sure.
And if we do lose, you've still got RL26. You can do those like 148 to 0 ones on
exactly.
Play the Dolphins just to let it out. I love seeing those on the old TikTok. People,
with the heavy breathing.
The heavy breathing. It's like 158 to 0. Bro, let's talk about the Dolphins. They are like credit to what's their coach's name? Wolf. He's got them ticking now, and they're moving quite well. Crazy good backline. But also mixed results in the halves. Mixed result, not the halves, but in the forwards.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going to question them. Look, we had Jamin Jolliffe just destroys. So they might have a breakout one in their ranks too. So I'm not too quick to diminish them, but
Nah.
what do you make of the Dolphins thus far this year? And they are coming fresh off a bye. Where are their strengths, their weaknesses, that type of thing?
Yeah, I think they've been running with a whole lot of momentum in the season. I think Isaiah Katar, as we all know, is probably one of their biggest strengths because he's a kid that he's really stepping up for the age that he is. I love the halves pairing between him and Cody Nakarima. It's my favorite pairing of the Dolphins. When they have an injury to Cody Nakarima, which is just returning off of hamstring injury, they put Sean O'Sullivan in there. It takes away from Isaiah Katar's game a little bit. Now it's Isaiah Katar being like, I'm the man. I'm getting everyone around. Cody Nakarima plays second fiddle so well. And then with that at backline, it's obviously going to be a real tough task. Hamiso, Jermaine, Herbie, Jake Avarillo, even Max Fiengai can have his moments as well. So it's a dangerous team across the park, especially with Isaiah Katar humming the way he is this season.
Yeah, bro. And their forwards, I know they've got Molo and Kafusi. We usually label those guys as veterans and
Yep.
work, the toilers. But hey, they're coming up against a kind of our weekend pack. Can they match it with us, with a Jeremy Marshall King leading that middle? I mean, Colin Lemuel is still quite solid, isn't he? And then not sure on Keely and Donahue, but you'd say not like for like, but like they could match it with us on paper, I suppose. But are they a good forward pack? Do they provide the platform for Katar to execute a majority of the time?
Yeah, they're an experienced forward pack up front, as you kind of touched on. Like Francis Molo, 30 years old, but he's been around the league for a long period of time. He's been around rugby league for a long period of time. Shout out to him, playing around Brisbane footy and all that sort of stuff. But I like Francis Molo. I think he's actually a really underrated player, especially for a prop forward. Felice Kafusi, we know what he can bring. Great defender. He is obviously a little bit longer in the tooth, but he's doing a great job out there for the Dolphins as well. Just his leadership. Corneli Lemuelu has been really good for them this season. He always finds his moments getting over the try line as well, so he's definitely a dangerous watch. Oren Keeley's found his form under the Dolphins as well. A very good edge back rower that came from the Knight system for the Dolphins. Keep an eye out for him. Great line runner. And Kurt... Exactly, bro. And Kurt Donahue, bro, he has been a major plus for the Dolphins this season. He's stepped up in any position they put him in. He's definitely a dangerous player there in the middle of the field. He's a 6. He can play 6. He can play hooker. He can play fullback. He's played many different positions. So very, very excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah, man. It's going to be interesting. Look, we'll get into our combined 17 right now, people. I'll just bring that up and we can... get that going. Let me just see how we got the. Here we go. Here, NRL fantasy. Thank you very much. How's everyone's fantasy going? Going well, Ash. You're killing in the super coach.
Like, trying, bro. I'm trying. I think I'm like top 3,000 at least.
I need to interview you for like one of those super coach shows, like on the bloke. They need to get some legit killers up there because you are one of the killers, my friend. You're literally killing it.
I don't know if I'm that good, bro, but I definitely give it a red hot crack. I've definitely there's a couple of trades I'm going to be looking at. I'll give it a crack, bro.
Oh. Okay, let's start at left wing. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck versus I think this would be Avarillo. Who are you going for in this matchup?
I've got to go Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. I think he's been in a really rich vein of form at the moment. So I've been really loving what he's doing for our side. I think Jake Avarillo on his day can be very dangerous, but I think the consistency of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck probably edges him in this contest here.
Jazz is saying be real conservative this round. Like we went, I think we went 15-2 last week. I think we're going to play on caution side tonight. And Josh, Jazz. But yeah, I look back at our take last week. I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, Roger, and he's been playing a lot of center though, hasn't he? Avarillo as well.
Yep. That and 6, bro. He plays a little bit of 6 too.
Yeah, his numbers are pretty good as well. Like his try assist numbers and that. So you can tell he's played a bit more around the game a bit more. Chance Nickel Clockstag versus. Hey, that sounds like women. Since you've been getting me to say women, I've been saying this. Oh, that was a good one. Wait, guys, we got a cool vlog, and we'll explain what I mean by that through the vlog coming out soon.
100%. 100%.
Charles Nickel Clockstag versus Hamaso Tebowai Fido.
Oof.
You gotta go Hamo, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, you know, I think Hammer's a good fullback. Like obviously he could play state of origin fullback and did a great job for us in Queensland. But I actually prefer Hammer as a centre. But in general, when we're looking at this argument here, I think that maybe the Hammer's probably done a little bit more this year in that jersey. He's had a lot more bigger moments. I think Chance is obviously very underrated, and it's a very close battle there. But I think the Hammer probably just pulls it out with his strike.
He's a strike force, that guy, man. Very much.
100%.
Right wing. Isako versus Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. I think we've got to go Dallin in this situation here. Sorry. How's Isako been going? I mean, he does kick a lot of goals. Isako's got pretty good finishing too. Like I can't really go Dal personally, but yeah, who would you go, man?
I'm gonna go with Jermaine Isako, bro. I think Jermaine's one of those real solid, consistent week in, week out centers. Got the finishing ability of what Dallin can produce as well. Goal kicking. Yeah, he's a very, very good player. So.
Yep, I think the chat's saying Isako as well. The Jam. Zach's going for the Jam. Oh, that's gonna be his name, ain't it? The Jam. Poor bugger. Okay, we're gonna go left center now, which is Pompey versus Farnworth. I mean, you got to go Pompey in this situation. What do you say, Ash?
Yeah, this one's a tough one, bro. It's a very tough one.
Nah,
it's a tough one. It's got to be Herbie, bro. Herbie is like.
Look, he's at the top of the actual. I haven't even typed anything, and he's at the top of the the fantasy points.
This thing, like,
actually,
you know, I
love Pompey in the fantasy points. Oh, he's not even, and we love Pomps, but he's not registering.
He's not really
he's not
a point scorer in that sort of sense. He's just a really good centre that does a great job for us. So that's why we love Adam Pompey. But I think that you got to have to go. What would you say? Herbie Farnworth's the top 3 centre in the game. Like you'd probably say Stephen Crichton, Herbie Farnworth, like top 2. Sorry, so. Yeah, they're number 1, bro.
Herbie. I wonder if he's named after Herbie Hancock, the famous jazz musician. That's one maybe. For Dom. Dom will know that one in the chat. Much love to the brother Dom. It was good to see him at the meet and greet. He's fantastic, man. Fantastic, man.
He's fantastic, man.
Okay, let's go now to. I suppose we're going to go Katewell here right now. We'll call it off the team list, guys. Katewell versus Whiangai. Which way are you going on this one?
Again, like, you know, you've seen it week in, week out. I'll probably like lean towards the more natural centers. Not to say like Whiangai's had some up and down moments this year as well, so it's not like he's a perfect guy either. I'm gonna go Kurt Katewell. I think I might sway the way of Kurt Katewell because Whiangai's been in and out of the lineup. I think Kurt's been a consistent member. So yeah, we're gonna go Kurt Katewell. If you can even fight him center on there you go.
Yep, we got Katewell in there.
Beautiful.
Okay, let's go now into the halves. Nikorima versus Tamaire. For me personally, Nikorima's been killing it. Well, when I've watched him, he's still been very solid, effective. Just based on volume of play and that, I'd probably go Nikorima. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cody Nikorima. I think he's been one of the more informed sixers in the competition this year. Even if it would have been a nice battle with him and Shanaris Davida, because I think Chanel's been a very good six this year as well. But Cody Nikorima, his combination with Isaiah Katar has been unreal.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, Tanner Boyd versus Isaiah Katar. I mean, I love Katar, but you got to go with I love
Don't
Katar,
you
but you got
love
to go
it?
with Katar. Hey, I really love Katar, but you've got to go with Katar. Yeah. He's just on another level, isn't he?
Chuck that man in,
Um,
bro. 21, doing what he's doing is just like it's not supposed to happen. Like he's incredible. Tanner, shout out to Tanner again. Like as we said before, being very consistent for us, and I don't think he's been like I don't see any people really saying it about it, but he definitely hasn't been the issue for us at the moment. I think he's actually stepped up in that role and done a great job. But Isaiah Katewell is like a different gravy, right? Like he's that KFC gravy. I don't know if is
yeah.
Kiwi. That's one thing I didn't try in New Zealand was KFC in New Zealand. Like, is your gravy in New Zealand just like top notch, like Australian gravy, or what?
Yeah, it's better. All of our stuff's better. No. It is. I used to have KFC over in Aussie, very dry KFC.
Yeah.
Wicked rings were dry too, so a lot more moist over here, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, nice word.
And
Pause.
yeah, the gravy's pretty good too. Although lately the gravy can be watered down a bit here.
Okay.
I find sometimes it's too much of the sauce. I need a bit more of the mashed potato, more of the potato. But that's personally. What I love over there is you can buy, I think pretty much in Aussie, you can buy the buns more. You can buy them like found over here. You can't buy the buns like you have to buy almost the bag of. I can't, but yeah, over there I found it a lot more easier because I like to like they give you the one bun and like I need about 3 or 4 to enjoy my gravy and chips.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, very
the
moist.
Staple. Moist. And we love it.
Moist. But yeah, you know what I mean? Josiah is saying he doesn't agree with me. Yeah, well, fair enough. But yeah, depends you live in New Zealand. Monaco KFC is always good. Yeah, probably, right? South Auckland. Hey, in South Auckland, the KFC levels are going to be very top quality. All right, you're servicing those people there. It has to be very sharp. But I used to live with a fella, and because what's your favorite piece of chicken? Drumstick, breast, thigh, wing?
Drumstick.
Are you like drumstick? Okay.
I'm a drumstick.
So my favorite is the thigh because it's the most moist. It's like as a lack of a better word. But, like nowadays you can't order 10 thighs because
No.
Yeah, but back in the day, everyone used to do the whole. Can I have 10 thighs pretty much? When you do your case, when you get a pack. But yeah, it's changed, man.
I love it, bro.
Yeah,
I love it.
KFC's
Love the KFC chat.
It's different.
It is. Yeah, shout out to we tried your Maccas. The Maccas was okay, but Levon, chill.
I
chill.
probably like Aussie Maccas better, to be honest, just personally. But yeah, KFC. Yeah, it depends. It depends what you are. It depends where you are. Yeah, everyone.
But your pies are better. I'll give you that. Your pies are better. You'll see that soon, guys. Your pies are nice. Your pies are very good.
We need a bit of moisture this weekend. Everyone's saying the chat.
Moist. There's some more to come that way too.
Very moist. Okay, let's go to front row and lock. So
yep,
we've got Dimitrik, Jackson Ford, Francis Molo, Felice Kaufusi, Aaron Clark, and Donahue. So first prop off the cab.
Yep.
Who would that be for you?
To be completely honest, I said before, I think Francis Molo is really underrated. But if we're going form this year, I got to give it to both our boys. I think Dimitri Vaimonga and Jackson Ford have both been very, very good. Felice Kaufusi's been in and out of the lineup. As I said, he's a little bit longer in the tooth at the moment. It's just there for experience. I think Francis Molo is the closest one we can fight here between him and maybe Vaimonga. But I think Jackson Ford deserves his shout here, and I think Dimitri Vaimonga deserves his shout as well.
Why isn't Dimitri coming up there? Have I got something wrong?
I'm not sure.
Jackson Ford. Okay, I'll put Jackson Ford in there.
Maybe Dimitrik's an edge in fantasy. Who knows? Which would be weird.
Then we got Aaron Clark. You're happy with Aaron Clark over Donahue, obviously?
Yeah, definitely. I think, as I said before, Kurt Donahue is going to be a dangerous player, as we're going to see this weekend. But I think Aaron Clark's been out and out, probably the best 13 this year.
Let's try Vaimonga. Nah, he's not coming up. Is he an edge, is he?
He might be an edge.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Oh, how dare
Should we
they
try,
do that? How dare they do that?
should we try and put? I'm trying to see if we can work our way around this.
We'll just go Francis Molo. As I said, it's a very close
Yeah,
argument.
Molo's
It's
good
very,
too.
very
Yeah,
close.
yeah, yeah. We'll give it to Molo.
But you guys know what my first option was, yeah? Winky wink.
Yeah.
Wink.
Okay, let's go. Let's go to the edges now. Left edge. Is that Connolly? Is he left edge?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Connolly versus Lecker. How
Good
has
matchup.
Connolly been going lately?
Yeah, good, bro.
player.
They've been
He's a good player.
switching between him and Fine Fuiaki on that edge. Even they have had Oren Keeley playing that edge a couple of times as well. That's why I kind of had to think about that for a second. But I think lately Oren Keeley's been pushed to the right. Kennelly's been very, very good, bro. He's damaging in his moments. He hasn't been like the big standout as he was that first year at the Cowboys just yet. But he's definitely finding his feet and he's been more consistent in that role. So big shout out to him. But if we're going this matchup here, bro, we're going our boy, Leka Lasima.
Yep. Okay, let's go to the other side. We got Murata at this current stage, but we know probably Katewell, but we've got Katewell in there. Versus Oren Keeley. Now you're telling me Keeley's actually quite a good little player.
Yeah, he is.
What would you go in this situation?
Again, very young in his career, Oren Keeley. I rate him highly. But I think I might just wait away Maratini Kure at the moment. The experience play, he's had some good moments this year as well. Again, we're touching on some of his defensive flaws at the moment that maybe are causing our right side issues at times. It's not just him either. But I still think that, he's had a great year this year. So I'm going Maratini Kure.
Okay. Now let's go to hooker. We've got a Marshall King versus Sam Healy. How's Marshall King been going?
Yeah, he's only just kind of returned in and out of the lineup due to injuries this year. But when he does play, he's definitely a big piece to that Dolphins lineup.
Yeah, you got to go Marshall King, I think, here. And respect to Healy, I think he's a bright star of the future.
Yeah, we're going Marshall King though.
Yep.
Yeah, international star.
Yeah, surprisingly, he hasn't played much Kiwis. Actually, he needs to. We need him this year for sure. He's been injured every time we've come to him.
Yep.
So I'm hoping he plays this year. Yeah, we'll see. He gets injured a lot. Bang on. Okay, that wraps up the 13. Does that seem fair, people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, yeah, 7 to 6. Pretty fair. They've given them both halves. You could probably argue, the two best back rowers probably Lemuelu and Halasima, but they're fighting for their spot. Roger and Avarillo was a good little battle too. So yeah, fair enough at the moment. Let's go to the bench. We have Tane, Laban, Lassic, Stella Smith versus Stone, Obelix, Tafa. Obelix, is that like Asterix and Obelix?
Asterix, Obelix.
Mark Nichols and Josh Kerr. What do you? I mean, they got a bit of experience in the Mark Nichols. You're probably saying Nichols and Kerr. Maybe I'm not sure the other. Or Ray Stone maybe crosses out a Freddy Lassic or Tane again. That kind of doesn't really suit him yet. How would you make this bench up for yourself, Ash?
I think what we'll do, we're going to go with Jacob Laban and Tanner Stowers Smith.
Yep.
And I think we go Ray Stone.
Yeah.
Because I think defensively, bro, he is on a different level. That he's again different gravy. And then we can argue over. We got Mark Nichols, Josh Kerr, Freddy Lassic, and Tane Chuapiki. I didn't know if I want to put Tane in that bench role.
Yeah,
I'd love to have Tane as a player. Yeah, so I think we might go. Screw it. We're gonna go the GOAT, Marky Nichols.
Marky Nichols. It is. Okay.
Let's go with the GOAT.
Ray Stone and Nick.
Orblex has been really good though, from what I've seen out of him. So he's definitely got a lot of potential. So keep an eye out for him.
Orblex, man, what a name! What an absolutely name. Okay, guys, that makes up your team right there. They win the backs pretty much 5-2, but we win the forwards 4-6. So that's what 7-6, or 4-2. Sorry, yeah. So it's 7-6, and then the bench they say 8-9. So it's a 9-8 split. So take that as you will. But yeah, we're definitely like got the Warriors blinders on us. We're being fair as much as we can. And yeah, that's actually a very good battle there. Okay.
So there's arguments there too. There's 50-50s there again too. So we could easily been further down here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a tough game on game day. Again, when we do these team lists, it doesn't mean that we're better or worse or any sort of way. It's just more of the fact of like on the game, on the day, any player can turn up and do a great job. So we're going to have to watch out for that.
Yep. And again, this is probably changed lineup, but for what was listed, we'll go with that. Yeah. Okay.
Woo!
Leave that there, people. Let me just turn that one off. Okay. Now let's get into our score prediction. My man Ash, I'll probably start off and just kind of, yeah, I'm not so confident this week. And we'll probably win now that I'm not. I'm not the greatest at score prediction, but if there ever was a time to bounce back, it would be now. We're probably preaching to them that, look, that wasn't the level, the standard. Even the Knights game masked over a lot of issues. So they need to get a solid performance, and who better to do it against the Dolphins, who is a team firing on all cylinders in attack, and
agreed.
It would be a tough match up for us. But I'm just going to sway the side of the Dolphins for some reason, although we've done well against them at home. But mix and match for this feels just a little bit tough right now. But yeah, I'd say just 1-12 for the Dolphins for me at this stage. But which way are you going with this one, Ash?
Yeah, this one's, as you said, a very tough one. Losing Fish is a big one for us. Like, we missed out on Mitch. We're losing Fish. I'm sure players like Aaron Clark and all that are going to step up and hit a whole new level for us. I'm sure Dimitri Vaimonga is going to step up and hit a new level, but is it good enough to get it done over the Dolphins? It's going to be a very, very close one. I'm thinking that, like, the way I'm kind of envisioning this game, like, the Dolphins are really tough to stop from scoring points. I know we had a really close game with them at Suncorp on a dry track. That was even when Isaiah Katar was running red hot, and it was like the big matchup of Luke Metcalf versus Isaiah Katar, and we got the Chockies in that contest there too. It's 16-12, where I thought like we dominated that contest in general. The Dolphins would be looking to bounce back on us in this one. So I'm going to go with a 24-20 margin. I think it's going to be like a 4-point margin. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think that we're just going to find that little bit of extra pizzazz. I think we're going to come in with a lot of good energy. But I definitely can't go away, like as you said, with the Dolphins being favourite. I said this before as well. This is me kind of putting a little bit more of rosy-coloured glasses. And as I kind of predicted, guys, gamble responsibly, but Sportsbet now got the Warriors at $2.19. So we've gone to the outsider after Fish and all that. So yeah, I can definitely see it that way as well. But, with my my positive mindset, I'm going to go with a 24-20, and hopefully the boys can turn this one around to pip it before we go to Sydney and versus the Doggies.
Just quickly on Tay's one, do you put the C on Farnsworth?
If you want me to be completely honest, if we're running Kurt Katewell in centre again this week, I would probably say put a C on Farnsworth, because I think after Kurt Katewell handling him the first time, I don't think Herbie will allow that happen a second time.
Look, whilst we would love this to be one of those ones, wouldn't it? It'd be fantastic if we pull this like clear underdogs, typical Warriors fashion. When we're not supposed to win, we win. So I think this is exciting. I'm looking forward to just seeing maybe just the reins loosed a little. I know we want to be more structured and tighter, but I would just love a little bit of more flowing ball just to, and maybe Tamari, that gunslinger that he is, he starts to sling the ball around a bit, and that might be the perfect balance to a structured Tanner Boyd.
Possibly.
So let's wait and see. I mean, Dimitri, maybe with Fish not there, might be a bit more licensed liquor. The young pups start to feel a bit too confident, and they pull one out, but you don't want them to do that every week.
No.
You want, but maybe for this one off, you start to see offloads for days. I don't know, but I think Webby will get them up for this for sure. Like, I think there'll be a much more considered if it's a hiding. I'll be very like, and even with the changes, I'm like, Webby will want them to stick to their structure and the game plan. And if they don't meet those indicators, and that was my point, I didn't say it earlier in the show, but for me, it's not about top 4. I want to see indicators that says we want to be playing in finals footy. So that means defensive consistency,
Yep.
Consistent attack, consistent play throughout. No major drop offs. Playing 10 minutes in and then you get destroyed for the next 30. Like, I wouldn't say those are the things I'm more worried about, despite what the result may be. So, but there you guys have it. We appreciate everyone so far. We're just gonna finish off with our other teams, specifically the NRLW girls. We had the meet and greet, and we caught majority of it. I was still doing some running around. I didn't get into about the second half. But Ash, what did you catch from the girls on the sidelines? They did take an L. The Titans girls looked up for it. What did you make of the performance from the girls there?
Yeah, it probably still shows that we still got a little bit of ways to go in that squad. Again, we touched on this to start the season with the women's squad. We've got a lot of new faces, a couple of new debutantes. Shout out to Fotu Moala getting over as well, our big debutant there in the middle.
Absolutely.
Great try. It gave us a little bit of energy towards the run home here. Taki Moana as well, getting over for another try. She's absolutely killing it at the moment there on the wing. But unfortunately, just the Titans coming over with, Georgia Hale and all that. Jamie Chapman, they do have some moments, even though they've been running fairly poor this season. I think that, with our side, we're still obviously learning the ropes of, NRLW. So it was disappointing for us to see us go down at home, which I felt like we have an added advantage at home. But still some really nice moments there. I still really enjoying Malipo, some of her moments as well. The conversions that she's getting to her kicking game is incredible.
It's great.
But it's still a little bit of way to go for sure. So shout out to the girls. And lastly on this point too, I just double checked this as well. Shout out to the attendance for the women's game as well. So NRL.com have got the attendance for the women's game here for the Warriors and Titans at 9,400.
Great stuff.
The average viewership or the average turnout for the girls over the weekend was about that 1,000 mark. So we're at 8,000 more people than the rest of the competition when we're playing at home. That is a major plus. So shout out to all you guys going out there and supporting our Warriors women. And this is what's going to push the women's game into a whole new level. And I think this is the reason why the NRLW went back to New Zealand as well, is because, the fan base, New Zealand rugby league fans are going absolutely mental. So I want a massive congratulations to all of them too. We seen, I think it was the Dragons game of the weekend that only had 800 people roll up. The Warriors girls, 9,400. That's a major plus.
And we've got a string of home games in FMG Stadium. Anyone that's in Hamilton, I'll be there. Come say hi. We'll catch up. But that'll be a good indicator too to see how much we can get at those games. And they got amazing deals for $30 for 3 games.
Woo.
10 a piece to get in. So jump on that just to go and chill and watch some footy on a Saturday and Sunday arvo.
100%.
The girls tracking about 10th right now. I didn't get a chance to watch the full game. Can you just tell me, Ash, is the attack still lacking? Are we still kind of clunky? Was that too many changes? I saw Shakira Baker wasn't in the squad. Obviously Quidley played and a few debutants as well. Was it just a little bit too much many changes? What was it like? Final thought on that?
Yeah, from what I saw, bro, because I was very similar to you. I ran in there just for, sort of the run into the first half, into the second half sort of thing. We were doing a lot of running around Mount Smart and that. But when we sat down to watch, there's good moments there in attack, and then there is some moments where we are looking like we're lacking there. That we're lacking a little bit of direction. So it definitely is still a work in progress on that end of the field. Defensively, there's still some really nice moments. Like defensively, like we can put some hits on. The girls are really up for it. But yeah, just when we get to that final third of the field, attacking wise, we're just still not able to really crack as much as what we kind of hope to. So that will come in time. That's all system based, and the girls learning, where to be, what lines to run, and who to play at what time. But yeah, that will all come in time.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, the girls have got Emily Curtin back in, pretty much unchanged backline. Byron Curtin's coming back. Fortu Moala is in. I think she scored the try, I think, on the weekend. Quidley starts at hooker this time. Lavinia Kitai's back in. Marire Puketapu is actually back on the edge with Kaya Aitai and Leishon and Albert Jones. And you got Capri's coming off the bench this time with Harata Batala, Ashley Matapo, and Felila Kia. She must be a debutante, I'm thinking.
She is a debutante, yeah.
What do you make with the change from Quidley to Paiko as starters? Is there a reason for that, you think?
I think it's a little bit of speed around the ruck. Like, I kind of been noticing that too. I was watching a lot of Paiko, like her defensive moments too. Like sometimes her spacing's just a little bit off. I don't know whether that's a little bit to play in as well. But I think the speed around the ruck of Quedley, I've really enjoyed her coming on as a 14 and like speeding up the ruck speed and like some of her decision making around that. So whether that is a little bit of a nod to hat from Ron Griffin in that sort of sense, maybe. So I'm very curious, like, it's a similar thing. Like I've been thinking about this for a long time. I was thinking about making a video on it a little while ago. But halfbacks going to that hooker role and becoming really good hookers. It happens all around. Like you look at Jerry Marshall King going to the hooker position, doing a great job there. There was a lot of rumor. Yeah, obviously Wade Egan came through the grades as a halfback and then turned into a hooker. There's a lot of stories like that. So, Quedley, that could be her best position. And I've really enjoyed her when I've seen her in that position as well.
Yeah, it's tough. And Marire Puketapu, how did she go? I know Shakira is usually a very solid defender. Marty has been coming on as impact. You think she's going all right on the edge there? Or is it a little bit tricky for her?
Yeah, I probably didn't get through as much of the work that she probably hoped for in her first game. I do feel like we are missing a bit with not having Shikaida there. But I'm sure that, with the game under her belt, I think she's got a lot to learn there and she'll end up getting better for the run for it. So I'm definitely backing her. But yeah, obviously it's going to take a little bit of time.
Well, and Curtin, I know Curtin was a lot of the fan base are kind of think Curtin's probably lacking a little bit of fitness, not lack of quality. Do you think there's a reason why we haven't stuck with Quidley over Curtin?
I think it's probably more the consistency. Like I did think that Quedley over the weekend probably would look flustered. Like we did want to have a little bit of speed around our halves and that. I think that Curtin probably is just a little bit more like stout in that 7 jersey, gets us to I feel decent kicking game, stuff like that. Quedley looked a little bit more like, she was frantic. So whether that was a little bit of that to play into it, maybe it was just a weak play of just maybe there was an injury that due to Emily Curtin that she was always going to be getting back into that 7 jersey. So, yeah.
Yep. So girls come up against a 4th placed Cowboys. They look very They look very solid. Obviously, they're going quite well. How do you think our girls will go up against them this weekend? Magic round actually at Newcastle, which is going to be great just to see. Newcastle fans will be loving that to have all the NRLW there over that weekend. That should be real exciting.
Yeah, guys, get out to it. Make sure you go support the girls out there. It's going to be incredible at Newcastle. Obviously, if it was played at Suncorp, I'd love to go down and watch all the girls play. I think that would be absolutely incredible. I think with the Cowboys, what we got to worry about is their ruck speed. When they have a hooker of Emma Manzelman, she's one of my favorite hookers to watch in the women's game at the moment. As soon as she turns her nose up, finds a little bit of gaps around the ruck. If A's not working hard enough and that, she just pins her ears back and she's really hard to stop. So get off the back of when those outside backs start to get a roll on, Jasmine Peters, Abigail Roach, Jakita Whitfield when she filters in as well. They're a very tough team to stop. So also I'm pretty sure I was getting lined up for a live stream on this game as well, guys. If you want to jump over to was it one of the boys' channels? I'm so sorry, my mind's just gone completely blank. Sammy Ravel, you can get over there to Wobbling Jaws
Oh,
Sports.
you get over
I
to
think he
wobbling, yeah, sure.
shout out to Rob Wobbling. He hit us up for a live stream. I'm so sorry, Wobbling. My mind went blank before, but yeah,
Yep.
shout out to him. Jump over there. We're going to be live streaming the game from last time I heard. I don't know if anything's changed lately, but yeah, we'll try and get on and do a live stream.
That'd be great. Yeah, Wobbling hit me up to do the Dolphins game, but I'm going to try to do one with Wobbling, the Dragons game. And send
Ooh,
some
let's
love to
go.
Wobbling Jaw, man. I remember when I first came onto YouTube, it was actually him and Hold the Ball.
Yep.
Shout out to my brother Hold the Ball, OG, triple OG. And it's great to see Wobbling still doing his thing. But yeah, he's a great guy, man, and I'm keen to do some stuff with him.
100%.
And good on you. Go check that live stream, guys. That'll be mean. That's going to be awesome.
Awesome.
So yeah, check that one out. Okay, man. Let's just jump now to the Cup boys. I mean, these guys. I was actually Ash was funny enough. I booked for Ash to be at the Novotel, and that's where the Rabbitohs boys were playing. So maybe we put the fear in them before they got to the game because they got absolutely punished, 68-6.
What we didn't tell you guys is, your boy Ash and Levon did a couple of pranks on the Rabbitohs boys on their hotel early mornings, got them up early. Nah, just kidding, bro. When I saw Levon in the hotel room, he's like, the Rabbitohs boys here. I was like, oh my God. I was like, did you go over there and intimidate them, coming into this game? He's like, nah, bro, we wanted to do that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they definitely must have had too much for that buffet breakfast there. They were off the pace. And good on our boys for destroying them. Sio Kali with a couple, Jet Cleary,
Bro.
Tafua, man, like good on the boys. That's at 15 or 14 now on the row. Bloody hell, they are killing it.
Absolutely mental, bro. Like the whole thought process of that cup side to start the year was, Tanner Boyd is the reason why our cup side is doing so well because he's an NRL grade talent, steering around that side. Then he's been pushed up to first grade and, Jet Cleary's jumped in there and he's doing a job. Like his running game over the weekend was incredible. 166 run meters behind him, obviously scoring a couple as well. So he was in fine form out there. Sio Kali was just a man amongst boys out there, even though he's a boy himself. 224 meters add with his 2 tries. His tackle break is just like on a different level. So shout out to the big boy, Sio Kali, 10 tackle breaks in this game. He is definitely one to watch for the future. Again, when we say this, guys, give him a little bit of time. We need him to stay healthy, but he is definitely someone to watch out for. Lastly, Taint Chuapiki running for 206 meters there, 5 line breaks. Like it was a sight to behold. Sam Healy. Like, name any name on that list and I'll tell you they had a great game. The only thing is, unfortunately, Ali Leotar with the injury in this game, which sucks. But, 68-6, bro. Like, these guys 14 straight now. Oh, my God.
Absolutely killed him, man. Yep. They got to get behind our boys. Just quickly, guys, Jersey Flag are back this week, and they are playing the Dragons on Saturday at 1:15 p.m. I think that's New Zealand time must be, or maybe it's Aussie time. Then the boys are playing the Dragons as well at the Cup boys playing at first versus second. That'll be a good battle.
It will be.
At Wynn Stadium, so get ready for that one, 5:10. And then the girls are on Sunday, I believe. So 1:50. So yeah, good. 4 matches this weekend to go and support. Yeah, absolutely awesome, man. And I'll be here on Friday night. I think I've got time to do a watch along as well. So come in on the Dolphins on Friday night. We'll watch a bit of that and do a watch along there. But my man Ash, thank you for your time, man. You've been absolutely awesome, man. How's that jet lag? Any jet lag or anything holding you back? Or
I think I kicked it on a Monday. As soon as I got home on the Sunday, bro, we slept it all the way up. We woke up, had some dinner, went back to sleep, and then Monday was pretty much like a new day to me. So it was first day back at work today. It was a little bit of a tough one. Like, early part, I was like, far, man, this is a long day. But, got through it and can't wait to book another trip over to New Zealand to come see you guys again for another week. That would be for a full week this time, I reckon, or maybe a little bit longer. That would be incredible.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we can't wait for you to come next year, man. And lastly, man, big up everyone that came out. Wise Up TV. Like,
Yep.
me and Ash started this, man. We didn't believe that we could do what we did.
Uh huh.
We had, I think, 25 people come out and hang out with us.
Incredible.
I'm one of those guys. I don't naturally hang out with heaps of people.
Yeah, neither.
Like, so to have 25 people that really wanted to meet us or just wanted to hang out with the community, man, that was so awesome. What an amazing experience. And then topped off, Monty Beathan came up and we had a chat with Monty.
That was
That was
awesome.
real cool, bro. So much love to everyone. We'll do it again next year.
Mm-hmm.
But man, we're absolutely pumped from that. So
Very
anyway, guys,
excited.
we'll leave it there. Have a great rest of your week. Short week, man. 3 more days and then game's on. So
Yep.
enjoy, people. And we'll catch you guys later. Thanks again, everyone. Saw Jose just coming there. Hope you're well, brother. Thanks to all the moderators as always. Much love. Up the wires as always.
Up the
Stay safe.
waz.
Peace out.
Woo.